Yes, so now true what I tell you so, and with that, I'm welcoming you to another edition of the program, and you are listening to iPod 102.7 FM live in Emureile, Ondo State. The program is Money Sense, and on this program, like I always say, we tell you how to spend your money. So you have to deal with it. Yes, we tell you how to spend your money, how to ensure that budgeting is easy and saving is available to you. I am Florence Ibhareman. Friends call me Floxy. You can also call me Floxy. And on the program, we talk money, we talk money sense. Remember, the program is aimed at helping you achieve financial prudency. So there is no excuse as to why you don't have financial prudency and as to why your spending pattern is not achievable. And today on the program, I am not alone. I am here with my financial superior and person of Akin Adebayo. Akin Adebayo, how are you doing this amazing afternoon?
Well, I'm doing fine. Thank you very much.
Yes, I am with my superior, and we'll be talking on the psychology of spending. You've been following on the program on the first edition. We talked extensively on why budgeting matters, why you need to make budgeting a lifestyle, and how you can help yourself by inculcating, by living with the nature of the three P's why budgeting matters. On the second edition, we also spoke about the step-by-step guide as to why and as to how we can achieve the budgeting. So today on the program, we shall be talking about the psychology of spending. Why do we feel some type of way when we spend? What pushes us to spend outside our budget? How can we curtail that spirit that tells us to go and spend when we don't want to spend? So before we continue, or before we dive into the program proper, we'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll open up the studio line and open up the program itself and the topic, the psychology of spending. You're welcome back. You're still listening to iPower 102.7 FM, and the program is Money Sense. I am Floxy. You can call me Floxy, and today I have Akin in the building. Now, Akin, what do you think is psychology of spending? Because according to the what it entails, it covers your emotion, social influences, and even your cognitive ability to spend outside your plan. So, what do you think is the psychology of spending?
Well, you've rightly defined the psychology of spending. I can just probably add little to it, and that is,
Okay.
like you rightly said, is the emotional, cognitive, and social factor, and these are the things that actually drive psychology of spending, and this often leads to impulsive buying.
Hmm.
You know,
When they say impulsive buying, that means you want to spend on things you didn't really budget for.
exactly,
So
exactly.
does that really imply that we use our psychology? We want to play or we want to blame our emotion. We want to blame our emotion for spending in a particular way. Is that what you're trying to say?
Exactly. You see, emotion actually determines how we spend. Like the word implies emotion. That is, we are reacting to probably something, either positive event or negative event.
So can we say that if I'm happy now, I can want to spend after my budget?
Of course,
So if I'm sad, so I want to spend after my budget.
well, it all depends. You understand? Like for instance, if you are in your right emotional balance,
Okay.
there's no way you won't be able to think right on how to spend, either for or against. Now, how do I mean? So take for instance, if you are happy.
Okay.
Or take for instance, maybe your child just got an admission to university.
Okay.
As a parent, you'll be so happy. Now, maybe your initial budget was probably maybe like 20 or 30,000 naira.
Okay.
But the fact that probably she was given a course you so desire. Or take for instance, maybe you are expecting that okay, this boy's jam might actually fetch him an admission in the department of maybe psychology or thereabout.
Okay.
And eventually, it's got to the extent that he was given an admission to study law. Now there is no way. There is no way that you won't go beyond your budget because you'll be so overjoyous. You want to celebrate it more than how you actually budgeted for.
Even if at the end of the day the house will suffer for the money because it was not what the initial budget should cover.
Exactly. That is the effect of the psychology of spending that we're talking about here.
Okay, could that also be classified under that instant gratification?
Yeah,
because when you said the child, actually you were expecting as a parent that the child will have maybe something to just go for psychology, and he now having maybe a course like a law course, and maybe that's your beautiful dream course for your child, and instantly there's this gratifying desire to no, let me pamper this child. Let me give him maybe a self-con to stay, for instance. Let me make sure he's staying in that campus is comfortable. Can that be also curtailed or defined as instant gratification because of that situation you are in at the moment?
Okay, like you rightly put it now. What you are actually expecting was an admission to study either psychology or any of the social science courses. But eventually, he or she was not given an admission to study law. There is no way as a parent, you believe that the best way you can show gratification is probably, celebrating the child more than how you initially budgeted for. So you can equally come to the conclusion that it's indeed an instant gratification.
Okay, now let's take another look at the social pressure. When it comes to social pressure, how do you think that affects our psychology of spending? When we have, at times we just scroll through the internet, for instance, and we see certain things that are trendy. It can be a dress, it can be a car, it can be anything, even a house. For instance, now, the pattern with which people build their house before is quite different from how they build their house now. So could social media actually be enough reason to alter our psychology of spending? Should it be in the negative form or in the positive light?
Now, ideally, social media should have been a positive form or in the area of our spending.
Okay.
But unfortunately, we find ourselves in a situation now whereby social media has actually made us to be spending on a very terribly negative form. You can see that I'm being emphatic when I say very terribly negative form. Reason being that, if you look at our social media space, there are so many artificial lives going on there. And if you as somebody, you cannot really work on your psyche to know that, okay, this thing might not be real. That this thing might just be flaunting what he or she does not actually possess.
There are even some apps where you have parents trying to dish food for a child as small as 3 years old, and you'll be seeing them dishing for breakfast 3 meats, then excess lunch pack and unnecessary things that they know that after the camera they will definitely take it out. Now, for someone that does not have a mind of themselves, thinking that is the pattern with which is now trending, going extra miles to get unnecessary things for the child, don't you think that even that social media now would tend to affect the child for a fan that is gullible to want to digest what they see on the social media, hook, line, and sinker?
And like I said, social media has brought about untold pressure. That is for somebody that cannot really manage his or her, psychology. You understand?
Okay.
Now, it has brought untold pressure on people because, like I earlier said, most of us, when many people live fake life on social media, like you rightly pointed out now, that you might see a scenario whereby a mother would have packaged probably the lunch pack,
even the food made for the whole family, just to push a narrative that the child is enjoying.
And if I must ask you now, why should a mother go to the extent of covering or making a video of the lunch pack of the child? These are things that tends to mount pressure on anybody that view stuff like that and couldn't really manage it. You get and that's why, in fact, social media of the thing has even disintegrated so many marriages. Like some woman now, you just paint, oh, my husband bought this, did that, and stuff like that.
And on vacation,
exactly,
and all of that.
And it may be real and it may not be. So now you now start maintaining pressure on your own husband back home. That
can't you see this person?
Because Jack Robinson, the man might go extra miles, dipping his hand into the finance that he ordinarily shouldn't have. Dip his hand into. Might have gone extra miles by even manipulating figures back in the office. These are the things. So you see, social media shouldn't be a yardstick for someone to start measuring how he or she would spend, would live, would try to manage his or family or finances.
Very well said. You're still listening to iPower 102.7 FM, and the program is Money Sense. I'm not alone in the studios today. I'm with Akin Adebayo. Before we continue, we'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll give you the rest of the tips we have for today. Oh, we'll come back now. Come on, so busy.
Your time your time well. Better to money that come from heaven. Do better to money goes come. The true word that they tell you so. Hey, true word not be cheap, my brother. Not the spoil person. You know good, yeah.
Yes, so true word, no the fear person. You're still listening to iPower 102.7 FM, and the program is Money Sense. And today we've been talking about the psychology of spending. Certain things that trigger you to spend outside your budget. Because on the program, our focus is how to spend your money wisely using the budget method. And all of today we've been talking about how the social media as a factor has influenced either in a positive way or a negative way about the spending psychology of persons. And today, moving forward, we'll be talking about the way forward when it comes to psychology of spending, things to do and things not to do when it comes to your budget plan. Akin, what do you think are the next steps to take now? Knowing that we already have social media as a distraction, we have our emotions at times as a distraction, we have that instant need to gratify our desire. Now, what are the things you think we need to do as to suppress that need? Those social media noise, the gratification, even our emotion as a person. What do we think we need to do?
Thank you very much. I think it's very important here that first and foremost, we get to know what triggers your spending. Now, like you rightly said now, the social media might be a factor.
Okay.
If you discover that, okay, whenever you view anything on social media, these are things that
you
get pressured down. You have to check what you view on social media.
Okay.
Now, if you get to identify, probably relating or your relationship with a particular person triggers your spending
pattern,
then you must call it check it. It might be your friend, it might be a colleague back in the office, it might be even your siblings. So all you need to do at that point in time is to identify when that person wants to probably go and get one or two things.
You avoid
such such meeting. You avoid such journey with such person.
Okay.
And some people are very, very, very funny. A friend might not even call you when maybe when she's not having much.
Okay.
But to now call on you, okay, friend, I want to go and get one or two things. That's when she will now call on you. Okay, just see me off. So you avoid such
impromptu or necessary
exactly. You avoid it. So that is number one.
Okay.
Now you need calling to track your spending. That is, what are you really spending on? The thing that you bought.
I guess that is where the budget plan comes in.
Exactly.
Because for you to have a budget plan, there's a list of things you intend to do for that period.
Exactly.
So the moment you're actually deviating from the budget plan you've set for yourself, there's a problem somewhere.
Exactly. So that is why it's very important you track your spending. Okay. Now you need to equally work out the reason for buying something. You must know the reason why you want to. You see, the difference between need and want.
Yes.
There are two differences entirely. Need is something that is compulsory, that you just have to get it. Want is your heart desire, what you desire. It will not be important.
Something trendy, unnecessary.
Okay. It will not be important. You understand? So you must try to identify what your need and want, what constitutes your need and want. You must try to identify that.
Okay.
And you must surely control how you use your card. Now, this item of a thing now, it makes spending very, very easy.
I think we are now in the era of cashless policy. Even the cards, people don't really use cards when you can actually use your mobile app to make transfers within swift seconds and you're done with transacting.
Exactly.
So how do we now curtail the use of our app that's on our phones?
Exactly. Now, you see, there's one thing I've come to discover.
Okay.
Even when it comes to the issue of cashless policy, it appears we tend to spend more.
Exactly.
Because right there, your bank is with you.
You have access to all the money you've worked for.
Exactly. But even if you don't have the cash with you, you are limited to the available cash on you. That's the difference.
Okay.
Take for instance, I want to go out with a friend. I'm having just 5,000 naira with me. I don't have any of these applications. I will let that person know I can't go beyond five, because any attempt for me to go beyond 5,000 naira
Is
going
actually
to be a
breaking my
problem.
policy.
So which means that if you want to really curb your spending, it's like you still have to go back to the holding. Let me put it that way. Because by the time you have an app that all your money, your money is in it, and you spend excessively. I have come to discover that. But by the time you have the cash that you want to spend with you, and you don't have any means of maybe raising money, then you know that you are at the mercy of the available cash on you at that point in time.
That's
so
true.
It's another, to me, is my opinion anyway, it's another means of equally checking your, the excess spending.
I think that would work basically with the financial discipline, that regardless of what I encounter today, this is my budget for the day. Don't you think?
It will really work. But like I said, when the other difference between you having your physical cash on you and you having your bank application.
Yeah.
You understand? Having a banking application is very, very good in some instances. Situation, maybe an emergency or everything.
Yeah.
But if that doesn't arise, then it's advisable you have your cash with you.
Okay.
You knowing, I'm not saying that you have your application. You see, short discipline would not be that easy in our own climes here. Okay. How do I mean? You might just be somewhere, and friend Jack Robinson, you might just call a friend, and the friend might just say to like, okay, let's just make my friend happy and send some cash to you. I'm talking about free money here.
Yeah.
And the way you see free money at times is how you got to spend it.
Yeah, that's
but
very true.
Take for instance, that if to beat, in other clients, let me put it that way, whereby the budget. Everything is budgeted for. Nobody will so much love you and want to like send money to you.
Everybody minds their
business.
And you only spend what you worked for, regardless of who you are.
Yeah, but back here, this communal of the thing, this communal relationship, family stuffs,
sense of belonging every now and then.
Exactly.
Okay.
Tends to like push one to spend
Out
to go beyond.
Budget.
The budget. So
Okay.
it's really counterproductive when you begin to like, if you cannot manage your bank apps very, very well, it could be counterproductive. So if you know that you find yourself in that category, then all you need to do is probably to have your physical cash with you.
Okay.
And maybe you can, for the temporary, maybe avoid some of these bank apps, because it really informs the way we spend our time.
Very true.
Now, you can equally consider avoiding temptation. Some things might be so tempting. Take for instance, you walk into a store, this is what you want to go and get, and by the time you now say this one, you see that one, that is where the issue of you having your physical cash and you having the bank apps with you.
Do you know, even that aspect of temptation, at times you walk into a store, for instance, and you'll be hearing, we are on sales, we are on promo. Maybe usually you buy the thing for like 100,000 naira, because they are on promo or they are on sales. They tell you they slash the price to 75,000. Ordinarily, that thing you don't need it, or because you feel this is opportunity, this is our wolf. Let me quickly enjoy the wolf. You just buy what you don't need.
Where they punch
exactly, because initially the plan was for something different.
Yeah.
But because of the discount or because of the promo they are in, you feel, let me just buy it and keep it for the future's sake. You understand? So I guess one of those things that tempt is also the marketing gimmicks. Marketers would actually want to push out there to actually attract you as a customer.
Yeah, you see, you cannot overemphasize that. It's one of the marketing strategy that you cannot tell producers or marketers not to adopt.
Yes,
it's part of their marketing strategy as well. It's not left for you as an individual to now know how to check yourself, how to manage yourself.
Okay.
Like I said, that is where the issue of you having your, like I would like to be more emphatic on the issue of you walking into a store.
Okay.
One thing is this. If you go into a store with like 10,000, for instance, you already know what you want to go and buy in there. There is nothing. I repeat, there is absolutely nothing.
They want to sell.
In there. Like that's why I said at times the hold could be better. I'm not saying that yours is better. The hold could be better.
Okay.
Could be better. You understand? No, so if you have your cash on you, you can't exceed the money that is on you at that point in time. Because you already know what you are going in there to get. But if you have your bank app with you, that's when you like, okay, this. Do you know there was a particular time that a friend of mine had about 3 different shoes, and those 3 different shoes, the difference there is probably just the sole.
You have to look at it very keen.
Very difference.
What's the need?
What's the need? And I said, I'm talking to more, almost the same thing, Is shoe free. These are the things. So you have to. That is how, to me, I think you can avoid temptation by you walking into the store with your cash on you. And let me tell you one thing. They already know that once you have your application, they know.
They will tell you
exactly.
We take transfer. They will push it to you with take transfer.
It could be as bad as that. So
okay, and yes, we're still listening to iPower 102.7 FM, and the program is Money Sense. Today we've been discussing on the psychology of money, why we spend on things we don't need, and how we can actually curtail those habits on spending. Before we continue, go on a very short break. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's program, today's episode of Money Sense with us.
Gossip, another man. Use your time well. Do better, do money doesn't come from heaven. Do better, do money don't come. The true word I will tell you so.
Yeah, so do better thing, money go come. And when that money finally come, you guys use budgets in a money sense to keep and make it last well. And yes, you're still listening to iPower 102.7 FM. We've been talking about, to you, the psychology of spending. And Aki has been putting us through the tactics on how to ensure that we work on those psychology of spending. And like he rightly said, it's very important for us to get to understand what triggers our spending. Yes, is it that when you go through social media, for instance, now you feel tempted to buy what you don't need to buy? Is that why you spend unnecessarily? Also, he spoke about tracking your spending. You need to have a tracker on what you spend and how you spend it. Likewise, we also talked about the reason why we buy some things. Now, for some people, it might be pressure, it might be friends, it might be things they saw, it might be how they saw it. So we also talked about that. And also, we talked about avoiding temptation and the use of our card. Now, for instance, like he rightly said, if we go back to the ways of the old, where people actually work with only the money they need, forgetting about the apps, I think it will go a long way to help us curtail the psychology of spending. Now, Aki, on a final note, what do you think, a final note, now, what do you think would help last in this 21st century, rightly called, what do you think would help us live on a right psychology of spending?
I think the best thing that you can do is to set a realistic budget. Yeah, I think that's just the summary of the whole thing.
A realistic
budget. And by the time you set that, then you should equally make sure that psychologically you are prepared for what you are setting, the standard. And before someone can actually sit down to set a realistic budget, then you must have put into consideration the previous way you have been spending. The negative effect of this is your previous spending. So if you're able to sit down and kind of rethink about how this spending has affected your life negatively, then you can now put in place a realistic budget. And putting in place a realistic budget will go a long way in helping you on how to spend. It will curb your excessive spending. It will check your undue and unnecessary influence of people that want to influence you to start spending unnecessarily. So you just setting, and like I must be sincere with you, if you are a man that's probably like going out, you can still set a realistic budget concerning that.
Yes.
Okay, I want to go out today, maybe every day. You can't but go out and meet one or two friends. Okay, if it is 2,000, I want to make sure you have. That is why there is no how. And in the course of you setting that realistic budget, then be prepared to go with cash. Avoid card. Avoid maybe the apps. And that for that purpose. Because by the time you get tipsy, you might go beyond the budget. Thank you very much.
Please help me sign out. Kindly sign out on today's program. Okay, and that's how far we can come today on Money Sense. And of course, my financial superior has done justice to the topic at hand, which is psychology of spending. And many thanks to Aki Adebayo for joining me on today's program. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
You're most welcome.
Until we come your way again next week, don't forget, the idea is to teach your money where to go, not wondering how the money went. Till I come away again next time, ensure you spend prudently, because at the end of the day, time na money. If you don't use it well, it will finish. I am Florence Ibhareman. Friends call me Floxy. Thank you